Tama Corner. My two number one trolls.
This is Tama Corner, and you are in the corner. This is the second to last extension of Street Fighter L. Now, of course, I will not be talking about Street Fighter L. It's just that I mentioned these two topics in Street Fighter L, so this is the second to last one. This one's going to be about why I respect certain companies, and the next one will be about how people misuse the term hypocrisy in gaming, because people they understand it, but they don't really understand how certain people work. You know, they don't understand the faction of life. So Tom McCorner going to explain that in the next video. That's going to be the last extension of Street Fighter L. And again, I'm not going to be talking about Street Fighter L. It's just that I brought these topics up in Street Fighter L, so I decided to make these separate videos. Now, on to the topic at hand. So, like I just mentioned, I'm going to be talking about why Tom McCorner, me, myself, why I respect certain companies. And not just respect, just don't have to respect why I like certain companies, why I may enjoy, you know, looking out, going online or doing some research to find out what this company may be coming out with next. And this is across all industries. This is not just really about gaming, but of course I'm going to turn it into gaming in the end because, of course, this is what we here for, is gaming. But again, so I'm just going to jump right into it. I do not believe one bit that every company out there is just in it for the money. Now, what I mean by that is, I'm obviously in this case talking about the like the president of a company or the CEO of a company or the higher management of companies, and then I start going trickling down to the managers and the lower managers and the team leads and whatever employees, regular employees, pretty much. But either way, when a company to me shows that they care for the customer, that they appreciate the customer, liking their products, it just creates this big, thing. And Tom McCorner loves the love. Tom McCorner loves the love. Don't y'all love the love? Because Tom McCorner love the love. All right? So I'm talking about, hey, we ain't handing out L's today. We handing out the L's. Wait. Oh, shit. Look, Tom McCorner about to go to the corner for that one. Woo! Hey, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. I should just stop the video right now. We done. We put myself in the L corner already. Look, I'm not. Oh man, Tom McCorner messed. Hey, you know what, people? It's okay. I'm just gonna go in the corner. I can't. I'm trying to talk my way out of it, but I can't talk my way out of it because I'm laughing. So I'm just gonna go in and get in the L corner. I'm just gonna go in the corner. All right, cool. I'm there. All right, continue. So, anyways, okay, we're just gonna leave that one alone. Anyways, Tom McCorner said, "Oh, all right, people. Look, hold on a second. What I was trying to say was that Tom McCorner loves it when the companies show that they care for the consumer. I like it when a company has it to where everybody in the company, the president, CFO, CIOs, whatever they call them, the higher managements, the managers, the executives, who's this and that, even the team leads, and then you get down to the employees, everyone. I love when when you walk in the door at a store, if you go to the factories or you go to the back plants, whatever, and everybody's jumping for joy. They're running around just trying to help you out as a customer. They're going out of the way, smiling when you walk in the door. When they see a consumer drive up, park out, they're doing backflips and cartwheels. They're doing everything for you, the yippee-ki-yo-yay, I just play. Y'all, Tom McCorner knows that. Tom McCorner knows good and well ain't nowhere in heck that's happening. I know for a fact, that when you go to these companies are major. These companies are big, all right? Companies have, especially these major companies, have thousands of employees spread throughout, the U.S. and spread throughout the world, depending on where they're located, et cetera, et cetera. And I know for a fact that even big companies, especially big companies, president, CEOs, executive, whoever, all the way down to the employees, I know not everyone in the company is going to give two craps or is going to care about the consumer. Probably most of them don't give two craps about the consumer or the customer, That's just how it is. But what I mean is, what I'm trying to get down to is, as long as the company's not giving me the middle finger, saying F you, just buy my product, I'm pretty much good with them. Now, with that being said, like I said earlier, I don't believe every company's only in it just for the money, again, I believe there are companies out there who are actually passionate about their work and what they offer. Whether it be a product or service. Especially the smaller companies, I can see to where maybe there are some small companies out there, and actually I know there are. I've dealt with some. I've actually bought stuff from companies or have service from some companies like this, to where maybe it's like a small company, maybe 5-10 employees or maybe less, or maybe even up to like 50 employees or 100 employees, to where it seems like everybody in that company is really grateful for the customer. They're really jumping out their seat to help you out and all this stuff. And you get companies like that, big companies, to where maybe you go to like a certain branch from this major big company, to where that branch is like everybody in that branch is like very helpful for the consumer. So there are companies like out there like that, and branches out there like that, certain divisions with certain companies, because we all know companies have divisions and branches, divisions and branches in those divisions spread out, throughout the country and the world, and throughout cities, and stuff like that. So with that being said, so you can have it to where maybe some of the employees, maybe there's a good amount of employees that like the consumer. Maybe there's a good amount that don't like the consumer, don't care about them, I should say. Maybe have it to where there's a lot of, the higher management, like the president, or like the CFO, or, just, a manager of a company that like the consumers. Some of them that don't care about the consumer. So it's a mixture, it could be either way. So I know that. And also know you got the shareholders. Most of them don't give two craps about the consumer at all. But anyways, we're not going to get that deep into stuff. But anyways, so that's what I mean. As long as a company is showing that they care. Now, there are companies that go out of their way, to show their respect towards the customer for buying their products or getting their service, just showing that they appreciate the consumer. And now those companies I feel the love from the type of companies that go out of the way to show that they care. I feel the love in that case. But with that being said, I also know there's companies out there who don't care about the consumer, and I just said that just a few minutes ago. But regardless, for the most part, I care. I don't really hate any companies. Now, this thing right here is what I want to get to. Why I won't care for a company is when a company lies and or deceives me as a consumer or customer, or when they're doing it to just anybody. Now, I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier, but when I see companies that show that they care for the consumer, or at least that they're not lying and deceiving the consumer, and say I don't like that say I don't like a product, or I don't care for that type of a product that company offers, or I don't care for that type of service that company offers. But if I know somebody else that likes that service or type of product, and I see that company's been doing good, maybe from reports I've been seeing online, or just from hearsay, then I'll say, hey, to a friend or somebody I just met, or heard somebody talking about it, hey, I know of this company that they seem to be treating people good, and go check them out. I'll refer people to companies, even companies that I don't even mess with, because I don't, it's maybe just to have a product, like I just said, that I don't, I'm not interested in certain products that some I don't like every product from every company, or there's some companies that I don't even mess with because they don't have products that I care for. But if I know that they're a good company, good moral and stuff, I'll refer somebody to them if I know somebody likes those type of products, But if it's a company that I know is ripping off their consumers, then I won't refer anybody to those companies. So for me, as a consumer, and in any industry, that's how it is. That's how I see it, Now, when it comes to gaming, though, it seems a little different. It seems people in gaming are okay with being lied to and deceived, being deceived about products or services, They're willing to be, oh, well, they lied to me, but whatever. To me, I can't do that. Also, I got to throw this out there. Also, if a company's, immoral, they got like slave labor type thing going on, then I can't really support companies like that either. I just can't. Now, with that being said, it's not like I go out of my way to, when I buy a product, to look up companies' recent history of wrongdoings to see if they match the checklist, if they pass the checklist, talks checklist. No, I don't do that. It's just if I happen to hear about a company doing this or that. Oh, okay. You was lying to me about that product. Or, okay, sometimes you buy a product that you see like on a commercial, or seen a company talking about in a press conference, you buy it, you say, whoa, this ain't nothing about what they talked about. That's being lied to. That's being deceived, straight up. I don't like that, That's like, dang, I spent money on this, but, it ain't what they said it was, And I did some research on it, and it's definitely not what they said it was, That's happened a few times, and I never bought the product from a company like that company again. That's just how it is, With that being said, I want to throw this out the way, though. I know, like I said earlier, companies have divisions and branches and stuff like that, and I know certain divisions and certain companies act differently some companies, can have many divisions, and sometimes these divisions in these companies might as well just be separate companies. Like us, like let's just use Sony for an example. Like Sony has many divisions, Microsoft has many divisions, and they have branches, out of those divisions as well, spread out, throughout the world. Now, like the Sony, you got the, I think Sony has a movie entertainment division. I can't remember what it's called, and they got the PlayStation division. Now, some companies, separate divisions, might as well be their own separate company because they act totally different. They may have like different policies, stuff like that. So that's why I brought that up is because, let's say for instance, I have a company called Talks, Timeouts. Let's say Timeouts, and I have a division called let's see, L Incorporated. All right, and I have another division called Haters Club. And Haters Club, right? And let's say Haters Club was going around, that division. I have like a sort of like a mini president in that division. He's going around, or the whole division just lying to the consumers, deceiving consumers. Now me as a consumer, I'll be like, oh shoot, Haters balls lying to the consumers. They got horrible products. They ripping off the consumer. I'm not gonna say F Timeouts as a whole company as a whole. I'm just gonna say F that division, but I still like, the L Incorporated products or service because they're not doing that. Now, if say I have like 5 divisions in my company and multiple divisions are starting to do that, I might start looking at the company as a whole and like, okay, obviously y'all don't care, because it's spread out throughout your whole company. Certain divisions are doing that, and obviously you're letting that slide. Then I start looking at them. But again, I'm still not gonna blame the whole company as a whole. I just don't do that. Now, because I know in gaming and other industries as well, like Sony has the PlayStation division and Sony has the other divisions. Now, you don't have to like the PlayStation division, but that don't mean you got to say F Sony as a whole, like F the Sony, TV division or whatever that's called, Sony division that makes the TVs. I'm not gonna buy those TVs because I don't like PlayStation. Like, come on now, that's just childish. Like, come on now, So, why hate on another division, just because you don't like the other division's product. That's just silly. But yeah, so with that being said, that's Time Out Corner. In the end, I guess I rambled on too much, but in gaming it's weird, because in most industries, when consumers are being lied to and deceived, most consumers will look the other way, like, okay, F that, I'm going over here for that, Now, would that be? I gotta say this. Now, there's a difference between being lied to and deceived to, and just having horrible products. Now, if a company has a horrible product and they didn't lie about it or deceive it, or just lie about it, pretty much, I'm okay with that. It's a horrible product, just don't buy it. Okay, I'll wait for your next product. I'll wait for your next product to come out. I'm just not gonna buy that one because it's garbage. But you didn't lie about it. You didn't try to deceive me about it. So, all right, cool. I'll just wait for the next one. I'll just look elsewhere. But I will prefer somebody to But I tell them to watch out. It's broken, but it's cheap, so maybe you can use it for a short temporary, whatever. But yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. That's how Time Out Corner sees companies. And sadly enough, in gaming, it's not like that. In gaming, it seems like people will accept being lied to, like I just said, and deceived. But it is what it is. People like to be cheated. I guess I don't know, but that's it for this video. The next video will be about what I really want to talk about is the hypocrisy. How people get the term wrong. Hypocrites. It's Time Out Corner, and you have been listening to, I don't know what this is called. Just Time Out Corner. No special series or nothing. Out. Oh yeah, this is an extension of Street Fighter L though. I'm out though.